I had question marks. Dude's been away for 2 years. You got to respect the game. He can't just come back and just do this thing. Yes, he can.
Calvin Ridley ranked 6th so far in week 1 in first read target share. Like he's all the way back according to fantasy points. Trevor Lawrence and Calvin Ridley looked like two guys that had played together for like 2 or 3 seasons.
Look at the release.
There's your separation.
Great route.
Stutter and go. Gets by clean.
That is unbelievable.
Maybe the greatest catch I've ever seen.
Let me just start with Calvin Ridley, man, because we had talked about Calvin Ridley ad nauseum at some point this offseason, multiple spots in the offseason here. And I'll just go ahead and say a mea culpa is being issued over here in Camp Co, okay? Because, my God, I had question marks as to whether or not I even threw out this grandiose term of you got to respect the game, okay? Respect the game. Dude's been away for 2 years. You got to respect the game. He can't just come back and just do this thing. Yes, he can. So my bad for everyone listening out there, all right? My bad. I own it, baby. Calvin Ridley, it's the John Wick gift, man. Like, yeah, I'd say I'm back. Like this dude is all the way back, Matt Harmon.
All the way back. And it was apparent from the moment go that, in preseason, right? Like they were dialed in on Calvin Ridley and you kind of had to wonder like, all right, is that going to carry over to the regular season, or are we going to see sort of just more of a spread it out attack, right. and they're just trying to get Calvin Ridley back in the swing of things. No, no, it was going to be all Calvin Ridley all the time for the Jacksonville Jaguars. 4 catches for 41 yards and a touchdown on the first drive of the game. Trevor Lawrence he gets pressure, but his eyes never leave Calvin Ridley. There is so much trust between Calvin Ridley and Trevor Lawrence because he just knows this route's going to come open. Okay. My guy is going to win this route in man coverage. Right. He's going to come open. So I can just keep eyes locked on him while I evade the pressure, reset my platform, throw off one foot, and I'm going to get it to this guy because he is that type of receiver. He's the number 1 receiver. Calvin Ridley ranked 6th so far in week 1 in first read target share. Like he's all the way back according to fantasy points data, 6th in first read target share. And it's just, man, he's that dude. And again, the trust between these two players, they looked like Trevor Lawrence and Calvin Ridley looked like two guys that had played together for like 2 or 3 seasons. I've been on Calvin Ridley all off season. I ranked him ahead of consensus. I've talked about how he was on that Stephon Diggs trajectory prior to leaving the game. But still, I had faith in Calvin Ridley and I have faith in Trevor Lawrence as an individual talent. But what was so impressive to me was just like right away, these dudes were locked in like they've been playing together for years.
I mean, it's crazy. 11 targets, 8 catches, 101, and a touchdown. And can we be real here? Like that could have been, he could have put up 200 if they wanted to. If they really wanted to, they could have put up 200. They took their foot off the gas, I think, in the second half. And ultimately, almost all the damage that Calvin Ridley did was in that first half. But it's just so obvious. It's so apparent, like obviously Trevor Lawrence is elevating the play of Calvin Ridley and vice versa, Matt. Ridley, I thought, made Trevor Lawrence look like an absolute stud. I was surprised by how well Calvin Ridley just came out the gates and just absolutely lit the field on fire. But bro, Trevor Lawrence did not disappoint either. You know what I mean? Like he came out and he established himself and said, yeah, okay, we've taken a step forward with the passing game. And he looks like the absolute real deal.
It's so similar. I think this dynamic to what I said earlier with Calvin Ridley's is the Stephon Diggs and Trevor Lawrence is the Josh Allen here.
Yeah.
It's so similar because you look at Josh Allen's rookie year, he is throwing to like Robert Foster and Zay Jones, ironically, who's on the Jacksonville Jaguars now. But it was like Zay Jones as a rookie he had like a 36% catch rate that year, I think, with Josh Allen or something like that. It was Kelvin Benjamin. It was Kelvin Benjamin. It was LaShawn McCoy. And then in year 2, and again, you go back and look at Trevor Lawrence's rookie season, he's throwing to like Laquan Treadwell and Laviska Shenault, who's not on the roster anymore. And he's got Urban Meyer as a head coach, which is even worse, right? That's even more of a disaster. And then you get to year 2 for Trevor Lawrence. It's Christian Kirk, it's Zay Jones, it's Evan Ingram, not guys who had reached their potential in their previous spots, but Trevor Lawrence elevates them. They elevate him just a little bit. They allow him to shine more so than what people saw in his rookie year. And then, 2020, year 3 for Josh Allen, 2023, year 3 for Trevor Lawrence. They get a dog. They got a big, number one dude here. Like Calvin Ridley is the Steph Diggs in this example, taking that guy to the next height. And it really is, I think, going to be one of those relationships, just like with Diggs and back in Minnesota, right? We all knew he was a great player. We all know Calvin Ridley was a great player. There's the weird layoff and stuff like that. So that's where the analogy falls apart. But these two guys, I think you're right. They're going to bring out the best in each other. And that's just great to see because we all know who Trevor Lawrence can be, but quarterbacks can't do it on their own. Did you watch Patrick Mahomes on Thursday night? Quarterbacks can't do it all on their own. They need a little help from their boys. And, Calvin Ridley's going to help Trevor Lawrence quite a lot.